Today was a very good day for the longs and a good exercise or another example of why, you don't want to get too cute on the short side because you get your face ripped off when you're trying to short. And shorting when a market is down, this much is like buying a stock that's extended. It's bound to pull back, a reversion to the mean type of trade. So that's kind of what happened today with the Nasdaq. Little short covering rally, snapback rally. One side got overloaded. The boat was loaded to one side and tipped over. And the Nasdaq was up 400 points today, 404 points to be exact, 2.27%, 18,188 was the close, still well off the high of 20,204. I'd mentioned before, it had been correcting via time. There was a lot of time here between December 16th, this little chop area, and then it did the waterfall through the 50, through the 200. It's been below the 200 for a while, for about, I don't know, 17 sessions, and today just rallied back up. To me, a lot of people are asking about a follow-through day. I would say no, it does not qualify as a follow-through day. The volume was lighter than Friday. You could take, a closer look here at March 11th, which is right here, and then count off 4 days, two, three, four, which is the 14th. It was up 2.6%, but the volume was lighter than the prior session. You could see there the volume was 70,000 and the volume of the prior session was 71. So that really doesn't qualify as a follow-through day. Neither does today. But I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs here. The Nasdaq looks like it made a low and rallied back up. At least I think to the 200, it's still 1.4% below the 200. So that's, 1.5% gain. We'll take that, right? And that's what I think we're going to see here is a rally back up to the 200. Now I want to go back. I did this on the weekend report, but if you didn't see that, it's just, similar to what happened in the end of 2018 was, and Trump wanted lower rates, and he had tariffs on China, and we saw the the slicing of the 50, the slicing of the 200, and it stayed down here for a little bit, then rallied back up to the 200 and got rejected, made this like three-leg down pattern. I'm not saying that's what we're going to see here, but you see this rally back up to the 200, fail, rally back up to the 200, fail, then the third leg down, then it starts to rally back through the 200. And if I fast forward, I don't know, I'll go to what 2022 is when we, started the bear market here, and it got below the 200 and stayed below there for a whole year. You can see here it didn't even challenge it really below the 200. But once it got through here, then we started that rally here at the end of October. What was it? October 13th was the low. Then we started our new bull market or our new uptrend. And then that 200, the black line there, the 200 SMA became a source of support, not resistance here. It did come down and touch it a couple times, but you can see it didn't stay down there like it has been for, 17, 18 days. It just came down there, kissed it, and then started moving higher again. So let's go to today. You could see, it came down and kissed it and it was support, but now it's below it. And if it rallies back up here, I would say maybe that would be a good time to short a stock or the index. I want to take a look at the SPY. It was up 100 points today or 1.79%. Not quite as robust as the Nasdaq. I don't know if I gave you the percentage. Yeah, the Nasdaq was up 2.27%. And so the SPY was up a little less than that, but you can see right here is pretty obvious, just right up against the 200, did close a tick above it. So that's a good thing. If you're, a bull on the SPY, which I am, I'm always, bullish. Hate to see the markets going lower. And, a correction is healthy. But they said over and over again, today, they want lower rates, and they're going to do whatever they can to get lower rates. So it's kind of like a jousting between Powell and the administration, and they're going to get lower rates, just a matter of how. So anyway, we all want lower rates. I want lower rates. When you want to borrow to buy a house or a car or whatever, you want lower rates. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to go to the RSP, which is, it was up 1.55%, so a little better than the SPY. I want to go to NVIDIA because, there's a lot of people talk about NVIDIA. To me, NVIDIA is just really struggling here. Like I said, last week it had good news. I know it was up 3% today. I get it. I get it. Okay, 3%. Congrats to the longs. But, last week I had that, good news and announced, and it was still down 3%. Now today it gets a little bit of a, relief rally. It was up 3%, but well below its 5% below its 200. And you can see right here, this is called the death cross, where the faster term moving average, the 50, crosses below the slower term moving average, which is the 200. Usually a sign that, trading lower in the future, but we'll have to wait and see. Microsoft did this a while ago. You can see that 50 there crossed below the 200. And it was about what, I don't know, what was the price when it did that? If I back off a little bit here. Okay, so 397, and then now it's 393. So not a big difference here, huh? Yeah, it did trade down though, 376 there, now back up. But Microsoft just kind of a steady eddies, but in real bad shape here beneath the 200 and the 50. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to go to Apple. These are the ones that move, the market. So I'm just showing you these. I'm not interested in these at all. I think if we're going to have a new rally, you have to look at new leadership. You have to look, you know, a rally has to have leadership or else it's not going to sustain itself. I don't think this is it right here. I'm just my own personal opinion. I know a lot of people are in these stocks and think they're going to go forever. And I just think that you need some growth. There's not a lot of growth in these mega cap tech stocks. This is Tesla, made that low of what, 217? What day was this? The 11th. Okay, that was that a pink rally day on the index. And then today, it was up what, 11%, but it's right up here against the 200, so 285, call it. So what is this, about $7 at 285? So let's see if it can rally through there. The problem is, the folks who bought, above, this area here, they're all underwater. All these folks are underwater. So when they get back to even, there's a good chance they're going to sell. It's called overhead supply. And we got a triangle of overhead supply here. So I think once it hits 200 or if it gets above 200, I think it's going to hit some resistance there. I'm not saying that, it's not. We just take it one day at a time and see if it can rally through the 200. That's Tesla. TSLA. All right, I'm going to get out of that group because I don't. It's not a group that I want to play around with. I did want to notice that on the let's just go to one stock here. How about Dutch Bros? Had it on the ready list today, and this is pretty typical of what I saw of a lot of stocks where the shorts covered in the morning and the thing just flattened out in the end. So not a lot of buyers here, just a little initial short covering, and then the patient's dead. It just flatlined the rest of the day. And I saw that with a lot of stocks today, like off the open, we saw the rally at the open, it just kind of flatlined. So mm, I don't know. It was a nice day. I don't want to poo-poo it. It was a nice day, but to me, it was just kind of a pretty obvious short covering rally. So, I like Dutch Bros, but it rallied through its 50, but that's not where I was going to go. I was going to go to leadership. So each rally needs leadership. I'm not sure the commodities are really a positive place to see leadership, but we are seeing leadership because stocks making new highs are showing leadership. This is Alamos Gold, AGI, AEM, the same thing. Sing made a new high last week, pulled back to its 10. To me, I like buying strength. Okay, so these stocks are showing strength. Other stocks like I just showed you the Mag 7 and stocks like Reddit, they're just getting some short covering off the 200, off their lows, off the bottoms. A lab, this is just short covering. This is not this is weakness. This is short covering on weakness. And I don't buy weakness, I buy strength. So I'm going to go back to my strength, which is the gold. The gold's been showing strength. This is WPM, Canadian miner. And until things change, I'm going to go with the trend because I'm a trend trader, and that's the trend. It's trending above its moving averages. So everybody has their own style. Everybody sees the market differently, and that's fine. I'm just trying to tell you how I see it. And when stocks are making new highs or at new highs, that's that's not an opinion, that's fact. Those are showing strength. All right, some of the other commodity plays, EQT, the oil and gas. I like the natural gas. That's what's been cooking, it's above its 10 EMA in any stock, in this market, which has been battered. Let's face it, one day is not a trend. The market has been battered, and this one's 3.8% above its 10. So these are showing strength. AM made a new high today. I mean, you can't argue. These are showing strength. I don't think I put this one on the ready list. I wanted an oil and gas, but I think I put EXE, not Intero. Yeah, that's a nice double bottom base there. That looks good to me. I don't know if I made a new high today, 109.40. No, but give this one a little time. That one looks pretty good. So just trying to show you strength, and it's just like I say, a question of style. Insurance, this is not the most bullish, with commodities. And, I showed Europe and China stocks, which have been strong, and Chile and South America stock, Chile and Brazil have been strong. How do I know? I just go to the ETF. Oh, that's one got rejected at the 200. And the EWG has been strong, the Germany, and then the ECH, which is the Chile. Yeah, these are showing a lot of strength there. So anyway, I digress. So I'm just saying gold, oil, the commodities, insurance, those are not what you really want to lead a new uptrend. This is very defensive. The root doesn't care. This one up 11% today. But there's some others that are strong that look pretty good. This is EverQuote making new highs. Like I said, stocks making new highs. I mean, you can't argue with them. I mean, that's a nice cup with handle pattern and making new highs today. So EverQuote looks fantastic to me. And then the Bro is just kind of squatting in a little shelf pattern. Needs to get above that 121.25, but looks pretty good. Up 2% today. I think we'll take 2%. Not bad. But that's not what I believe we need to look towards for leadership. Those are definitely showing strength and showing leadership for sure. But I think you need to look at some of the drug and the medical, the software, cybersecurity type stocks. This is Amgen. You say this doesn't look like much. Well, this is a large, 170 billion mega cap stock, and it's consolidating within a base trading tight. That looks pretty good to me, because while the markets were correcting, this one is consolidating. Looks pretty decent. And also Gilead is another one of these large cap, 133 billion market cap. Broke out of a base, now pulled back to its 50 for the first time since the breakout. Just kind of resting here. This one also looks pretty good to me. There's your consolidation, your breakout, and your pullback. So these are the large American, I want to emphasize American USA stocks, because the Trump administration talked about tariffs on pharmaceuticals. I think he was talking about European pharmaceuticals. It could have been China, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. Eli Lilly, obviously setting up within a base here, cup with handle pattern. People just don't have the patience to sit through this thing, but this one's a big winner. Nice shake out there below the 50, rally back through. That looks like, what is what was the move on this right here? It's not enough, I don't think here. What the low was 795, then 812. Yeah, 3% not enough. 3% today. Yeah, not what I'm looking for. I want a little more rally from there, but still, Lilly looks good. So those are the types of large cap drug stocks that look pretty good. This is AbbVie. Midwestern company, you can see this one broke out, now pulled back to the 21. Come on, man. Any stock here being supported at the 21 is a strong stock in this tape. Yeah, I know it was down today, big deal. While other stocks were seeing some short covering, this is a lot stronger than, the ones that I just showed you, NVIDIA and all those other ones, Apple, Tesla, and all that. I could go Google. What's the difference between those two? I mean, look at this sell-off. I mean, this is way below the 200. I would much rather own AbbVie. Sorry, not. It's just my style. That's all. Now, like I said, there was a mention of the tariffs on some of these, I believe the European stocks. So these ones took a hit today. And of course, Novo has been blasted. The Biden administration, Bernie and Biden dragged the CEO through the Senate hearings. They just tortured the guy. This stock has been seen weak trials or disappointing trials, and this thing's been murdered and 49% off of its 52-week high. You don't want to see that. But if they see tariffs as well, I mean, that's bad news that they bought a China company today with a weight loss compound, so they know their drug is inferior to Eli Lilly's, and they're trying to do something about it. Anyway, those are the large cap US and European players. And then you got some of the, local, down home American companies that are showing the growth, right? This is the growth. Wall Street loves growth. And these are the stocks that, look pretty good to me. Halo, maybe we're going to get some, maybe the drugs after stalling for 3 or 4 years are finally going to get some love here. This is Halozyme. You can see the big consolidation here, the RS line and the blue dot showing, relative strength here. It's got sales and earnings growth. So I'm on the lookout for these types of stocks here. And these aren't the only ones, but if we're going to have a new uptrend, a new rally, we need new leadership. And I'm looking for it here in some of these drug names that I'm showing you right now. This is Catalyst Pharmaceuticals. Had this on the ready list today, and this thing delivered the goods here up 6%. Not bad. Breaking out of that base. If we look here at this, yeah, that's a nice breakout. Breakouts haven't been working in this correction, so that's going to be a test to see how well some of these are doing. TVTX is another one. Don't fall asleep on these. It undercut the 50 now, rallied back through their ADMA. And there's just a bunch of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but yeah, definitely drugs are one area that I'm looking for. And I mentioned some healthcare. Now you're not going to get a lot of growth here. 20%, 18, not bad. This is McKesson medical drug supply, and then Guardian, 30% growth. This one looks pretty good as well. OPCH, another one in the medical area, 20% sales growth, pushing away from the base. That one looks fantastic as well. So just trying to keep an open mind as to where the new leadership will come from. I'm not going to just sit there and rely on those old Mag 7 stocks that are below their moving averages. Got to look elsewhere. You got to look for the growth here, and that's what I'm trying to do and trying to show. This is Cardinal. Not much growth here, but it is set up in the base and looks pretty decent. All right. I mentioned cybersecurity. You have to have the essentials in the market. I think drugs are essential to people, especially boomers. They like to take a lot of medication. And so, yeah, they're going to live with their medication. Food is another. And of course, cybersecurity. Companies are not going to be cutting their cybersecurity budgets. This is OKTA, had this 3 week tight pattern. Made a nice move today. 2% will take it. But to me, I think it's got, much more juice in it, above 120, certainly is in the cards. Checkpoint is another software security name, just pushing away from its base. That one looks pretty good. VeriSign, this is a Buffett. Warren Buffett bought this company. Not a ton of growth here, but cybersecurity looks good to me. And of course, you can't go too far without CrowdStrike. Endpoint Solutions, this one undercut the 200, now has rallied back through here. So CrowdStrike looks pretty good to me. Yeah, that looks like yeah, it could be like the Livermore shakeout plus three there, or shakeout plus 10%. So it shakes out and then rallies up. What is that, $30? Yeah, more than $30. So yeah, it's shakeout plus 10 on the CrowdStrike. So that looks good for CrowdStrike back there. It's a moving average. Did get, a little rebuff there at the 50, so it needs to blast through that 50. Zscaler is another one in this group. So there's just a lot of them in the cybersecurity area that look pretty decent to me. Rubrik traded down to the 200, rallied back through the 50, formed a little shelf here, and now a nice 7% move today. So those all look good. And I did mention food, and you got to be careful with the food. Yeah, because a lot of them have been hammered. Bros, I like. Obviously, it's got the growth, right? Darden is another one that looks pretty darn good. Not a lot of growth here, but man, making new highs. DoorDash, this is part of the gig economy, people ordering, and DoorDash went into the S&P 500 today, and that was well received, up 4%. Really like the weekly chart on DoorDash. Think it's going to be a long-term winner. So, this is the type of stuff that we need to lead if we're going to have a new bull run here. Some other names, computer software gaming. Take-Two looks pretty darn good. Don't count out Roblox, undercut. Now it's trying to rally back through. Spotify, certainly. Big winner. Undercut the 50, rallied back through. That one looks pretty darn good. That looks like the old Livermore shakeout plus 3 as well. And it's really shakeout plus 10%. And Netflix and Spotify are just kings of their area, especially Netflix, just dominating streaming. That one looks good to me too, the undercut and rally. And then Palantir, another software name. It's giving you the growth, and it looks a little stronger than those other ones I showed you with, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Tesla. This one's well above its 50 now. Yeah, 8.9% above the 50. So Palantir looks good, challenging that 100 level once again. That's the software group. That's it for me. I have other leaders, besides the gold, the oil, the insurance, the drugs, the medical, the cybersecurity, the food. That's a lot of leadership, folks. So yeah, I mean, the bull market the new uptrend could be sustainable. You just take things one day at a time. And anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Except for at mcstockcharts.com. I just have to point out that 23andMe, we have one more thing. 23andMe going out of business, kind of sad. This was once what was it, a 300 something dollar stock? Yeah, $363 stock. Just 4 short years ago and now going out of business. So pretty sad, but this is the risk that you take. When you buy a stock, you got to do the homework on the stock. You just can't sit there and buy it and say this one's going to go up forever. And obviously, this one going out of business. Companies go out of business all the time. Just pointing that out. There's a lot of risk in the stock market. All right. And then after hours, KB Homes reported kind of what I thought they would report. There's the housing market's in real tough shape. And, this is why the administration wants lower rates, or part of the reason. Um, yeah, we need lower rates. Anyway, KB, it wasn't that they missed, it was their guidance. They really guided lower. And we heard the same thing last week with Nike and FedEx, and that's why it's going to be really tough with apparel. I think people are going to cut back on, buying that extra sweater, extra pair of shoes, but they're going to still buy that Dutch Bros or Starbucks coffee in the morning, aren't they? I think so. All right, and then Oklo reported after, and they just missed all over the place. The reaction wasn't too bad so far. But man, they really missed by a lot. Anyway, it went up the mountain, it went down the mountain. Maybe 23 is the low here, but probably a little bit of a haircut tomorrow. I would think with that report, but you never know. If we have a new uptrend in the market, this one might be able to survive. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.